Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and I first want to talk about something really exciting that I am doing to raise funds in order to help pull more women and children off the streets and out of sex trafficking. I'm doing this for my birthday month, #VirgoLife. And so here is what I'm doing, and I need your help. We want to raise awareness for sex trafficking in general because so many people are not aware how prevalent this is all over the world, and it's really heavily a problem in the United States. For those of you who don't know, for years now, I've been helping build safe houses for women and children who we then rescue off the streets and sex trafficking. We put them in a safe house to where they can get the therapy, the medical attention that they need. And we also keep them far away from the perpetrators, from the pimps, from the circles of people who want to then utilize them to make a ton of money. And what happens is with these women and children, teens, is they're so used to that life and their self-worth and self-esteem is so low, they will often run away and be lured back into that lifestyle because they don't know any different. So it's really important to have these safe houses and for these women and children to have the counseling and the medical attention that they need. So I want to help raise more funds to my primary charity, Children of the Night. And you guys are going to help me do that, along with helping raise awareness for sex trafficking in general. So here's what you have to do. You just have to write a 5-star written review of this podcast, and every single written review that I have for this show for the entire month of September, I am donating $10 to Children of the Night. So that's for every single one, no matter how many I get. It'll take you 90 seconds. You can include your name in there. That would be great. I would love to feature some of you on my Instagram and say thank you for donating to Children of the Night and being a supporter and helping raise awareness and end sex trafficking. So I just wanted to start out the show that way today because we are officially starting this today for the entire month of September. If you don't know how to leave a 5-star written iTunes review, all you need to do is Google it. And yes, you can leave a review even if you don't have an Apple device, and you can Google that as well. So I just want to say thank you guys. And if you want to say happy birthday to me, this is the best way possible that you can do that. Okay, let's get into this episode today, which is managing fear and anxiety in entrepreneurship. I have said quite a few times lately, because I want you guys to really hear this, it took me 10 years to start ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. I had the idea and the logo and the mission for 10 years. Now, part of it was divine intervention where it wasn't really the right timing for me to start. But I will say probably the final 4 years of it, I absolutely could have started. And it was fear and anxiety all holding me back. Now, fear and anxiety shows up in very clever ways in our brains where we might go, well, I'm not scared, or I don't feel I have that much anxiety around that. I hear that all the time when I'm coaching people. I'm just confused. Hashtag, that's fear. I just am a procrastinator. Hashtag, that's fear. I am just feeling stuck. Hashtag, that's fear. I'm just not sure where to start. Hashtag, that's fear. Our brains are just really clever. You know, even the I'm so busy right now. Hashtag, that's fear. I don't have the money. Hashtag, that's fear. It's all fear. It's just clever ways our brain says it. So we don't have to really go, oh yeah, I'm feeling, you know, fear and anxiety around it. Whether you've started your business and it's just not growing, or you're ready to up level, you know, this is where more of that fear anxiety can come in, and it comes in so many clever ways. So that's how it ended up being, if we just want to go on the 4-year part with me. I mean, but let me tell you something, that time clicks by, and before you know it, now a few months has gone by. I mean, hell, look where we're at in this year. How in the hell are we in the last leg of 2020? I mean, it's absolutely insane. There's like Halloween costumes and shit in the stores. I mean, and I saw Christmas bows in Costco. Time goes by really fast. And these stories we tell ourselves really eat up a lot of our time. And it somehow pacifies us and makes us feel like, gives us kind of an excuse to not go for it. And that is why it took me so long. I would say, oh my God, I'm so busy. I don't have the time. I use the energy as an excuse. I don't have any additional energy. I'm already so fried. Oh my God, there's so much to learn. I'm not a tech person, so I don't even know where to start with the tech stuff. So are you guys starting to identify some of these thoughts that you've had swirling around in your brain? That's all fear and anxiety. So here is how I lessen that, because I've had to learn it. And even when I ripped off the Band-Aid and started ProjectME, fear came up all the time. I mean, it was almost daily when I was starting. And now it's probably like weekly that it comes up. It comes up when you go to the next level, when you're launching something new. Maybe you're being more vulnerable. You have a new program. I'm telling you, it keeps showing up. So you've got to learn how to work with your fear and anxiety. You have got to learn how to manage it, or it's going to absolutely keep you paralyzed and from getting what you truly want to get. Like, I don't know how to do a lot of things. A lot of the skills I've had to learn. I've had to either hire someone to teach me, or I've had to like go down the Google path for God knows how long. I had to buy a book, a course. I just had to learn by trial and error. I mean, so you using the excuse of I don't know how, I mean, that's crackers, because if you don't know how, well, you can certainly find out. So the one thing that I really is my go-to, I will ask myself when I start down that like swirling brain and get all those thoughts get going and go down that whole path. I ask myself, Tiffany, what is one thing that you can do today? Just one thing that you can commit to doing today that is for your business. That's it. One thing. And maybe that one thing is learning how to do something. Maybe that one thing for you is doing a post on social media. Maybe it's going live. What is one thing? So I want you really, you're negotiating with yourself. You're negotiating with your own fear, the side of yourself that's in a lot of fear. You're talking to that side. We're just going to do one thing, and you can be scared and you can be terrified and you can be nervous, and we're just going to do it anyway. We're just going to do one thing. Because even if you did one thing 5 days a week, I'm telling you that is getting you much further ahead than what's happening for you now, which is putting off the things because you're thinking you have to do all the things, and then none of the things you get done, and then you feel like crap about it. Then you beat yourself up, then you lower your vibration, then nothing really gets done, and then is that self-fulfilling prophecy in your brain of, see, I never really get anything done. I never follow through. I would never be successful. And now you're in that loop. So let's disrupt that loop. And all you have to do is one thing. Let's simplify it. Sometimes the one thing for me is as simple as, okay, I need to review all of my modules for my Selling with Soul course so I can see if we need to add any new ones when we are launching the new program. And by the way, that is going to be coming in October. It's going to be turned into a program versus a course. There's going to be an amazing live element with me. So I just have to review that. I can do that one thing. So then what happens is you do that one thing and you realize it wasn't so bad. And you also feel good about yourself because you completed something versus procrastinating versus avoiding. You actually completed something. And then I'll ask myself, okay, what is one more thing I can do? Just one more thing. It can be small. It could be writing a post. It could be coming up with hashtag groupings. It could be learning how to do Instagram Reels. It could be joining the ProjectME posse, right? Just one thing. And then keep going from there. Don't tell yourself, I have to do all these things in order to be successful. That is another way of fear and anxiety in disguise that keeps you blocked. So I just want you focusing on that. Here's the other thing. That when fear and anxiety starts showing up, it's actually a good thing. It doesn't mean it's telling you to stop, you shouldn't be doing this. It's because you're out of your comfort zone and you're actually going for something that you care about. That's a good sign. If you didn't have any fear and anxiety, I would tell you, you're not actually going for what you truly want. You're not going big enough. Your goals aren't big enough. Your dreams aren't big enough. You're not actually going after something you really want. Maybe you're just going after something you're good at. There is no way for you to go after your dreams and build that business you want, build that freedom you want, and have it without fear and anxiety. It is not possible. And if you keep waiting till that fear and anxiety is gone, you will never, ever, ever have it happen, period. So you have to learn how to work with it and first make peace and acceptance, knowing it's going to be there. And it's there because of course you're nervous. Like when you try a new activity, whether you tried snowboarding or you tried surfing or something like that, don't you have a little nervousness and anxiousness, about you when you're trying something new? What if I fall? What if I break my foot? What if I look like an idiot? That's completely normal. You're supposed to have those emotions. And then when it's for something you really, really want, your business, the financial freedom, your book, your podcast, whatever it is, when it's something you really, really want to create, the fear and anxiety is bigger because the stakes are bigger, because you care, because you want it bad enough. So it's going to be there. So you have to make peace with it. I will talk to it. I also have only child syndrome. Who are my other only children out there? I feel like it's a thing where we talk to ourselves because we had to in order to entertain ourselves. So I will say to myself and talk to the fear, I know you're there, fear. I know it's scary. I know we don't know what we're doing. We don't want to look like an idiot. What if no one shows up? What if no one buys? But you know what? We're just going to do it anyway. We're just going to experiment and do it anyway. That's why I always like using the word experiment. Experiment versus you need to go for it. You need to, that doesn't usually work with my fear and anxiety because it'll push back. We're just going to experiment. Period. It's really all you're doing, truly, in life in general. But as an entrepreneur, you're experimenting. You don't always know what's going to work. Not everything you touch turns to gold. There are no freaking guarantees. You're experimenting. This is what marketing is all about. There is no guarantee in marketing. One brand could copy what another brand does and it won't work because they have a different audience and they have a different vibe. There is no guarantees. I used to get asked this all the time. Still, I do once in a while with my other business where they want to know guarantees on Facebook ads, guarantees on digital campaigns, guarantees on email open rates. And I say the same thing every time. I can say, this is what the range is. This is what other brands, similar to yours have had these kind of results, but there are no guarantees. It might not hit, and you're going to have to do some trial and error. Things are not going to work, and that's great, because the things that don't work lead us closer to knowing what will work. So you are going to just know you are going to have shit that fails. You are going to have posts that no one likes. You are going to have videos that no one watches. You are going to have programs that no one buys. You are going to do a webinar where you have very few people attending. This is going to happen. It's not an if. It is going to happen. It happens with multi-billion-dollar brands that have the best of the best consultants, ad agencies, and everything working behind the scenes. They have flops all the time. Just go hit up the 99-cent store and you'll see a ton of product flops, like food product flops. There's tons of them, like crazy flavors of Oreos that didn't work, crazy flavors of different candies. I mean, I saw a mint. The last time I was at the 99-cent store, there was like a Snickers bar, but they did a chocolate mint Snickers bar, and it was like a green wrapper or something. There was a pumpkin spice Snickers bar. These are all like... what is it? The toys. What is that from? Toy Story? What movie is it from? It's like the Lost Toys. It's from like some classic movie, but it was like the Lost Toys. There are all sorts of crazy things in there. And these are major, major brands. So you need to take that pressure off and know you're experimenting. And of course you want it to work. And of course you're going to use, the strategies that Tiffany teaches, or whatever. So we have a higher chance of it working, but there is no guarantee it's going to work. And when something flops, when something doesn't do as well, this gets us closer to knowing what we need to do. Okay, this didn't work as well as we thought, or this didn't work well at all. Why? Why didn't this work with my ideal client? Why didn't this resonate with them? Was it the title? Was it the delivery? Was it my energy? Was it the font? What was it? And then you have the opportunity to also ask your audience, this didn't seem to vibe with you guys. Why? I did that with a post of mine. You guys can go, if you really are bored, you can go and scroll and find the post. I shared my TIFF method. My TIFF method is something that I get paid a shit ton of money to teach to corporate sales teams. And I had a graphic made to share my TIFF method with you guys, which is really freaking generous. I mean, it does involve probably a more robust training to really get it, but I shared it, right? And I was like, oh my God, people are going to freak out. This is so generous, blah, blah, blah. It's one of my worst performing posts. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, what in the hell happened there? And so I asked you guys, this was quite a few months ago, but I asked you guys, like, I made a joke about it. Like, you guys are nuts. Like, this is like gold. So what didn't resonate? Like, what about it? And I got really great feedback. It was too complex. It seemed above where I'm at in my business. It felt kind of intimidating. I couldn't quite grasp it. So I went like too far with it, right? It was too far. And so that was really helpful for me to know to not go that far, because you guys don't want that. That's going too far with it, especially in a post where I can't put enough context around it. Do you see what I mean? So, I know some of you have written and created and put out videos and posts that you're like, oh my God, I'm being so generous. People are going to love this. And then they don't, and you feel discouraged. Well, this is a business. It's not personal. It's not personal. It's like a chef cooking, and it's their labor of love, and they poured their heart and soul into this dish, and they thought this was going to be the big, the hot dish of that restaurant or of that dinner party, and almost no one ate it. You could take it personally because you cooked it. You could even assume, oh, this must taste like shit, even though I think it tastes good. Or you can look at it like a business and not take it so personally. If you're really, truly a business owner and a leader, you need to stop taking a lot of stuff so personally. And it's not easy sometimes, but you've got to do it. You've got to remove yourself from the brand and look at it like a business. And so in the chef example, it's like, okay, What didn't connect? Oh, I made this truffle mac and cheese for, and this was a group of people who, most of them are dairy free or vegan. So that's part of it. Or this is a really healthy group. And so they didn't eat this calorie laden dish. Or it could be the presentation. It kind of looked ugly. So no one really wants to eat ugly food. And if you really wanted to not take it personally, you could be the chef or have, one of the servers or whatever ask, I just want some feedback on the food. What did you love? What didn't you love? And then say, like, I noticed this one dish wasn't really touched. I'm curious, like, what didn't you like about it? And get feedback so going forward, this is really important. So I want you to take that pressure off yourself that things have to be a certain way and things have to be perfect and things have to convert and things have to make money or you failed. And that's not true. You fail by not doing anything. You become successful by just doing one thing a day. You will not see me grinding away here in my office for 8 hours a day. Even when I'm in launch mode, you still won't see that. Because I promised myself I would not build ProjectME with Tiffany Carter the same way I built TLC. I was going to build it to where it was fun. I put my health first, my well-being first. And even if that meant it took me longer to make more money, that was fine. I wasn't going to risk my health, my sanity, my well-being ever again. And then my promise was that I could build and make a lot of money and in an easy way where it's self-honoring. Then I would share and teach all of you how to do it. But I said I'm going all in. I mean, I was going all in for a year. And if it wasn't making shit and it was just becoming this like crazy jobby, then at least I experimented and tried. But obviously we know that's not the case. It's a wildly successful business, which is why I'm teaching all of you how to do it in a way that's self-honoring, that can be easy and fun. But that doesn't mean you get to escape the human emotions of fear and anxiety. Those are natural. Those aren't going anywhere. You need to learn to accept it, acknowledge it, and make peace of it. And have to take action anyway. There is nothing that makes fear and anxiety go away more than taking an action. And it's so funny. How many times have you guys been putting something off, and you're like, now I really have to do it, right? And you actually do the thing and it took you far less time and was far easier than you thought? Raise of hands. This happens to me quite often. I just start laughing at myself. But now at least I have a mental repertoire. Wow, that was a big word. I sounded really fancy there. Repertoire. Anyway, I don't even know if I used that word correctly, but we're going to go with it because I felt really smart saying it. I'm going to say it again. I mean, now you have a mental repertoire of all this evidence of, oh my God, I always think it's going to be way harder and take longer and be more annoying and frustrating than it is. And look at all these other times I've said that and actually end up being easier. So now when I start doing that with myself, which I still do, I'll say, okay, but we also know the likelihood is very high. This is going to be far easier and take less time than you thought, because this is what happens every time. And I'm like, that's true. And then I ask myself the question, what's one action you can take? What's one thing you can do to work towards finishing this thing? Sometimes I have to break it down by project. Like that one thing can't be the whole project. That's even too big, right? Like something like, preparing for the Selling with Soul program launch, right? That's way too big. So what's one thing you can do to move the needle in your pre-launch phase? What's one thing you can do today? Okay, well, I can go review all of the modules and the videos and see if we need to add anything or, change anything. I can do that, right? Oh, that sounds like it's going to take forever. There's so many modules and bonuses and I don't really feel like watching all that stuff. That's going to take forever. And then my brain goes, yeah, but you say that, Tiff, you say that every time, but it always is far easier and you're going to feel so good when you've done it after. So that's the final thing. I do it for the after. This is something I've said for a long time about exercise. And even though I'm in recovery for 6 years for exercise addiction, I've never enjoyed exercising. I enjoy how I feel after. Yoga or something like that. Sometimes kickboxing. There's certain things I can enjoy at some point during, but really it's how I feel after. So I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. Like today, I don't want to do it. I need to do it. I don't want to. But I know I'll feel better. And if I want to feel better, I have to do the thing. So, okay, I do want to feel better. I'm doing it for the after, so just do it. You know that doing that one task, it is going to make you feel better. I know all of you at the end of the day, when you've been more productive, even if it wasn't your most productive day, but you've been productive towards your goals, not just like, cleaning out your junk drawer in your kitchen. You've done something towards your goals. I know that you go to sleep with more peace and less anxiety, and there's a sense of empowerment in it. Like I did good. I did good today. Like I get my own gold star today. That feels good. Versus it's the end of the day. You've put shit off yet again. You've made excuses yet again. You've really not done anything yet again. You are now going to bed with a low vibe thought process swirling in your mind. I've not done it again. What's wrong with me? Now I have an even bigger to-do list for tomorrow because I put off everything today. And then you don't sleep well. And then what happens because you don't sleep well? Then you wake up the next day and you feel groggy and you feel like crap and you're unmotivated and your mind isn't clear. And then you put off more stuff again. And then we keep going with the compound effect going in the wrong direction. I want to get your compound effect going in the right direction. And a compound effect is literally one task at a time, one baby step at a time. You are either moving the needle in the right direction one baby step at a time, or you're moving it into broke-ass town one step at a time. And I'm not going to have that for you. So if you don't feel you can take one small action a day in order to work towards the very thing you want, then to be blunt, you just don't want it bad enough because that's not a big ask. And I'm telling you, that is all I do sometimes is one thing a day. That's it. And it's not like some big monumental thing. It can be a really small thing. And when you do the compound effect and you do one, even if it's a small thing, every single day or 5 or 6 days a week, now that's a lot of things. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, you guys, don't forget, if obviously you have to love the show, but I imagine if you're still listening to me at this point, I would gather that you do love the show, or you just like the fact that I use the word repertoire and we don't even know if I used it correctly, which is even more funny. Well, at least I don't know. I want you to leave a 5-star written iTunes review. Remember, every single written review of this podcast for the entire month of September, I am donating $10 to Children of the Night. This is one of my primary charities. You can go look them up, childrenofthenight.org. They have been around for many decades. We help pull women, teens, and children out of the hands of sex traffickers and pimps and build safe houses and have a safe place for them to live in and get the therapy and the medical treatment that they need and keep them far away from any access to either the people coming and kidnapping them or them escaping and going back to the life that they're just familiar with and don't know any better. So make a difference. This is my way of saying, like, if you want to say happy birthday to me for my birthday month, my birthday is September 5th, by the way. But if you want to say happy birthday to me, this would mean the absolute world to help us donate to this primary charity, Children of the Night, but also raise awareness for sex trafficking. It's a topic that's really uncomfortable for a lot of people to bring up or even think about, which is also why it's such a prevalent problem. This is a hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollar industry. This is as big, if not bigger, than the drug trade. That's how big of a international problem this is. It's actually a business, which is disgusting, but it is. And it's been around for a very long time. None of these stats are new to me. As you guys know, my personal story, I was pimped out in a very unique way but it still is a form of sex trafficking. So it's really near and dear to my heart. And it's really important awareness is made where people in my life, they turned their head the other way because they didn't want to see what they were seeing or think they were seeing what they were seeing because it's so egregious, it's so awful, it's so grotesque, it's so slummy, and they don't want to see it and they don't want to think that it exists. And then so they don't look at it. So then what happens? Then it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. And it kept going from me to 11 to 21 years old. That's how it kept going. And there were for sure people who saw it and didn't do a damn thing about it because they didn't want to believe that it was really happening. They were terrified of it. They didn't know what to do with it. So this is also why this is such a near and dear to my heart. And I would really appreciate you guys helping raise awareness for this cause. I love you so much. Wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.